right now we want to thank the young people who came up. You know, I love their courage. They stood their ground. Some lost their lives, unfortunately. May they rest in peace. But they showed us how to do things. There are a lot of people who are just out there, maybe at home, just complaining. You know, complaining cannot solve a problem.
Taking an action solves.
Take action. If it is a street protest, go and protest. There is this young man I like, the guy with the one tooth here, who was protesting the first time at the airport and saying, Ruto ameuza.
Oh, the young boy. Yeah.
Yes,
Ruto ameuza airport. Nobody believed him, by the way.
People never believed him.
And nobody took him serious.
Today he's trending. The people are saying, where did this guy get this information?
How did he get the information? That is the question, by the way. How did that young boy get the information? I've also been wondering, how did because the first time I watched the clip, I didn't take it serious because this issue of Adani, okay, it was the Adani had already heard of it. Somebody sent me the letter, but I didn't take it serious. So the moment this boy came out saying that William Ruto anauza airport kama nani, I just watched it like, this is just a boy who doesn't understand what he says. So it's like, sasa saizi tunaenda wapi, tunaenda airport. I ignored it. So now the moment that now things now are being exposed over Adani, now I refreshed back to the video.
And you went to look at
I went to look at that young man again. I realized that there is something that he saw that not even learned people saw. Not everybody saw. Not even the people that were working at the airport. Not the KAA workers saw that.
The only person who was having this idea very strongly is the senator of Kisii.
Yeah.
Richard Onyonka.
Onyonka, yeah.
He's the one who has been talking about it all the time. He's the one who came across those documents by accident in a foreign country. He was, I think, in an airport somewhere in Europe. I don't know whether it is Europe or Asia. Was it Turkey or something? Then one guy called Amenya. I'm forgetting his other name.
Is it Kennedy Amenya? Somebody. Yeah. Also the guy with specs. Yeah.
Yes. Amenya had come across those documents and he gave to Onyonka and told him, Wewe, Senator, our airport is going. Now that we are discussing the Adani issue, I saw the president was trying to defend the record of Adani. Yes, he's trying his best. We know we need a new airport. That is a fact. Rwanda are doing an airport. Ethiopia are doing an airport. Rwanda is supposed to handle about 10 million people like we are projecting for ours, but for Rwanda it is going to cost 2 billion. That is from getting land and all the other, and building a brand new airport. Here in Kenya, they want to do renovation and use the same 2 billion. And then give out to a private enterprise to run it for 30 years. That is why I think that is why Magufuli said you can only sign such agreements when you are out of your mind.
But Ruto said that he's not a madman.
You know, no madman goes around saying, "Look at me, I'm a madman." No, but you know, it doesn't make sense. Why would you give out a strategic facility like that to a foreigner for 30 years? It doesn't make sense to anybody. It only, and also the secrecy in which it is it's shrouded also should be a warning to people.
I heard yesterday the Secretary General of ODM, that is Sifuna, that is the Senate of Nairobi, there is something that he said. He said that the whole idea of selling airport to Adani did not come from a foreign country. It is an internal idea. It's something that came within the country. So this issue of Adani coming in, it's just like someone is trying to cover up for something.
Let me take you back to the expressway. This expressway that people are paying, I don't know. Today they are paying about 700
shillings
from the airport to Westland, to Waiyaki, to James Gishuru. We were told it was built using debt from China. Jimmy Wanjigi kept going to me. You know, Jimmy is the one who brokered that deal initially before it was taken away from him. That is why he gets so bitter with some of these people. Because he has the information. So, this road was built. Juzi si president alikuwa China na timu mzima. From sources in quotes. It was discovered that we don't owe China anything for that expressway. The fact is we are paying a debt. Who are we paying?
And we don't own Kenya. We don't own any foreign China any debt. We don't have the debt of China. But we are paying concerning the expressway.
Yes.
But we are paying it.
We are paying some people who are pretending to be China.
Ghost China, in short.
The question is, the question Kenyans should ask themselves is, who are these people who are being paid for a national asset like that expressway? Rumors, I don't like spreading rumors, but this is what is coming out. Our former president, with all due respect, is the owner of the expressway. He's the one we are paying. And he used taxpayers' money to build that road. And I don't know, he's going to collect that money from us for how many years. That is now a private road.
But he's collecting.
He's collecting our money. So when the President Ruto came in, and he's also competing to be as, you know Uhuru is rich based on the old money from his father. Ruto has just come in. Okay, he made some money during the YK 92, and he started growing from there.
But that one is not enough.
Ruto now wants to become richer than any other.
Uhuru and Odinga's family.
There is a rumor that Morara Kebaso posted last night on X that Ruto is starting anataka kuanza biashara ya kusafirisha watu kwa ndege. He has bought 6 planes. I don't know how true that one is, but maybe people need to investigate. You know, sometimes when you become like Morara, I like the young man. He's doing a good job. The way the government works is they recruit some people who would seem to be your supporters, and then they start giving you false intelligence, so that you go public, ndio serikali ipate sababu ya kukushika wakuweke ndani. So it could be one of the ways they are using to try to silence him, but he's doing a good job. In fact, if that guy ran for president today,
he will be elected.
I don't know about other Kenyans, but he has my vote. Why? Because he's speaking and showing us where this money has been eaten. Where I come from, that is Webuye East. I know, like this financial year alone, over 130 130? Is it billion? No, million. Was given for NGCDF. This is the money that MPs have been fighting to control. This is the money that is supposed to go and ensure that kids are not sent away for school fees. Nikiwa nyumbani kila wakati huwa naona watoto wanafika tu kwa gate, they go back home. The question is, where is that money going? And I hope this reaches our MP. Honorable Pepela, we put you on notice. We need accountability in terms of let the children go to school. You see, when Kibaki gave us a free education, and I like Kibaki for that. You know this Gen Z that was protesting juzi, how they walipata 100% ya free education ya Mwai Kibaki. Traditional leaders don't want you to go to school so that they control you. They know with the education, and that is why you saw I even came in your studio with this book. Me, I love reading. When you are open-minded and you read a lot, there is a lot that you get to know. But there is also a danger. Knowing too much keeps you sad. Because you see a lot of things going wrong, but there is very little you can do.
Especially if you are not in power.
Especially when you are not in power. There is some other observation that I've made now that you talk about power. when we were in school, we used to be taught about immiscible liquids. Immiscible means they don't mix.
They don't mix.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is where we are. When you see a very rich person in this country today, I don't know about other countries, in this country, there are two things. There is riches and integrity. Those things in Kenyan context are immiscible. They cannot mix.
They cannot mix.
They cannot mix. Most of the people who speak the truth are very poor. They don't, in terms of resources, financial resources and so on. Most of the crooks are very rich.
Are very rich.
Yes. And the crooks with money will beat us all the time. Because you will go, Morara would go around and do civic education and finish. Then somebody will come with 1 million shillings and tell you, well, take this and go say this.
Go say this, yeah.
That is what was happening even on X when they were organizing their protests. You remember the day they summoned Ruto for a meeting? Do you know, money, I'm told, exchanged hands because they wanted to control. In fact, one of the guys who hosted that meeting, I'm forgetting his name.
It was called, what was his name? I think I also remember his name.
Because after that meeting, immediately he tweeted and said, nimepata yangu, acha sasa niende nikunywe. I'm told he was paid 500,000 to do that for that one day. And he went silent up to now. The question is, who paid him? That is the challenge we have. Even this Morara who is now speaking, outspoken, I hope he remains firm. Because people will go to him with money. And they'll want to influence him. And sometimes when they cannot influence you, they kill you.
They kill you.
Look at what they are doing to this lady, Aoko.
Yeah, Aoko. Yeah.
Yes, Maverick Aoko. By the way, if you want to know the whole truth and dark secrets, go and see what Aoko has been posting.
On X.
On X, yes. We need, if we got 100 of those people, just 100, then this revolution will succeed. But so long as we have people who are influenced by money, you try to do something kidogo, mtu anakuja na pesa anakuambia, let me buy you a car. You weigh the process. Yes, I've been working all these years and here is
a vehicle, an instant one.
Exactly. So that is the biggest challenge we have in this country. And I want to encourage the young people. Niwaambie, me, I've been around I'll be turning 43 tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow is my birthday.
Happy birthday in advance.
Yes, I'll be turning 43 tomorrow. I have personally tried what I could do for those years. But the young people today are equipped with more opportunities in terms of knowledge. They have a lot of knowledge. They can do much more than some of us have done. We were doing from the background. How I work on the internet, they can come and influence a lot of people at once.
You know, Gen Zs have got power. If at all, at this right now, they just take their phones and somebody write on space that tomorrow CBD at 10.
Yes. They'll be there.
They'll be there.
They'll be there.
The power, that power win, and it has killed. What I realized that the Gen Zs have killed that issue of tribalism, you know, religion and all that. And
let me tell you, you see the mainstream media houses. If they are not careful, they are also going down.
Yeah.
Because nobody will be listening to them anymore. People have moved to social media, and fortunately, again, we are getting. Okay, I don't want to market anybody here, but Safaricom has been charging us unnecessarily high in terms of bundles. Kuna jamaa ametokea huko sijui anaitwa Starlink.
Starlink.
If we get, I don't know how it will work, but it is going to be better. And that is why I told you when we were discussing about Kibaki. If there is somebody, a president that we must remember forever,
the late Kibaki. Yeah.
In fact, if it was possible, kama vila alimaliza hiyo 10 yake, tungemuongeza 10 ingine. Because he's the only president who ever worked for this country. He did Thika Road. Thika Road, watu wanalipa pesa ngapi kutumia? Hakuna.
But the government wanted people to start paying. That was something that really shocked.
Yes, that was a proposal, but we will reject. We will reject.
Because there's no way. How long have we used that road?
This is not a private road. It is a public road. Even this expressway. Kuna siku tutasimama tuambiwe ni nani tunalipa hiyo pesa. Na kama hatutaambiwa, people will start using without paying. I'm told another one, this government is planning to do all the way to Mombasa and all the way to Malaba.
Yeah.
And then people will be paying to use it.
Okay, Mr. Dan, this issue of these pupils, these kids that some of them died, and some of them are nowhere to be seen. You know, it is very much painful that in Kenya right now, what I've realized that every morning we wake up with the new stories. And they're not just good stories, they are painful stories. That some of them leads to death, some of them leads to injury. That some of them leave the people of the country with a lot of wounds. Like, let's say, for instance, if we start looking at this thing from the moment that the Mackenzie Shakahola issue rose up, Mackenzie was arrested. And then after Mackenzie being arrested, was taken to jail and all that story, no one has ever talked about it since Mackenzie was taken to prison. I don't know whether he has died. I don't know. But that story of Shakahola issues, nobody talks about it. And then after the Shakahola issue, and then I think we took some time, and then immediately after, during the Gen Z's demonstration, we went to Githurai, whereby more than 300 people lost their lives. Some of them, their families are still crying up to today. They don't know where they are. The issue, Githurai, people talked about it. President William Ruto was saying that nobody has lost his life, that everybody has not received any call from any family that they are losing one of the family members. And then all of a sudden it went silent. So the moment that Githurai massacre went silent, this issue of the dumping site, the Mukuru kwa Njenga. So are you seeing it is one after the other? So this one comes and then it kills the other. So the Shakahola was killed by Githurai. The Githurai was killed by the Mukuru kwa Njenga, whereby in Mukuru kwa Njenga more than 150, almost 200 people were found at the dumping site. So the Mukuru kwa Njenga issue, the government claimed that they arrested the person that was responsible. After arresting the person that was responsible, the person was taken to prison. He escaped from prison. Tell me how a suspect can escape from prison with the 12 others. Tell me how. And then that is not enough. After the escape of this guy, now we are at this one of the kids losing their lives and being burned, some of them burning. And then we also have this issue of the blackout, the blackout over the country, and the ambulance that we're seen at the airport. And then all of a sudden the kids are nowhere to be found. Because what I know, Honorable, is that there is no single day you can tell me that you can meet a kid or two kids, a kid on the way who seems to lost his way, and you as an elder fails to recognize or to realize that this kid has missed his way. And these kids will be learning from the same school. So it means that these kids knows each other. So however much they will be walking all over this, all around, it cannot be one. Maybe there are 2, 3, 4, or 5. And they must be saying that we are from these schools. But these kids are nowhere to be seen. So can you tell me what is really happening in the country?
At the danger of being accused of speculation, maybe before I address that, just this morning, I live somewhere along Thika Road. This morning there was an accident somewhere around GSU. I think there was 2 motorbikes. Somebody appeared dead. Some 2 young men appeared dead, motorbike riders. It has not been reported anywhere. Last evening, there was a car crash in a place called Kaburengu in Webuye. 2 people died. if you look around, we have been having road accidents almost every day. This morning I was asking myself, why is God so annoyed with Kenya that he keeps, or even if we blame the devil, that he keeps taking people from us every day? That is a question, number one. Let me take you back to the Shakahola issue. The day Mackenzie was being taken in, he said some words that I keep remembering. Mnachopigana nacho hamkijui kitawaramba. That was a very alarming statement.
And he looked at the sky, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. What did he mean? Now, there were bodies that were excavated from Shakahola, and they went to do post-mortem. It has never gone public up to now. The issue of this, during the protests, there are those people who are... Okay, let me talk about the Githurai issue. Because the day before the massacre happened in the evening, I was in around a place called Kawash. And I observed from the bridge, the walkway, bridge, yeah, the cross. Yeah. You can see Githurai, what was happening there. I think that is the same time we had some what the Gen Zs were calling the peaceful protest. Yeah. And it was generally peaceful until the police, I don't know. Most of these protests are very peaceful until the police show up. Yeah. Because when the army came out, it was very peaceful and it went on well until late. So what happened in Githurai is I could see from a distance. There were people on one side of the road and the police on the other side. There is a kiwanja hapo near Githurai shop pale market. Kuna kiwanja hapo karibu. So the police had parked their vehicles kwa hiyo kiwanja. So kukakuwa na hiyo tension, sijui. Then the police, I don't know what happened, they started shooting. Then the people got annoyed. They started stoning the police vehicles. In fact, by the time some of those vehicles were passing near where I was standing, all the windscreens were broken. Some policemen were bleeding, wamepigwa mawe vichwa na nini. So what happened is when those vehicles were leaving that place where the police had parked, one of the vehicles ilishindwa kupita. Sijui kama iliwekewa kizuizi ama nini. So they could not pass there. The only thing the police could do was to alight and run away on foot. Wakawacha gari hapo. And the people set the vehicle on fire. By the time I reached there, the vehicle had burnt to ashes. And even before the fire could be extinguished, there were already people taking some chuma from that vehicle. Scrap metal wanaenda kuuza. I think by the time the last flick of fire went out, there was nothing to show that everybody had taken a piece and they had gone to sell. Kuna hii biashara ya chuma inaendelea. That is why it happened. So that night, after it happened, I think the police were on a revenge mission. Because we could hear gunshots all over the whole night. And from the rumors that were going around, we are told over 300 people died. There is another rumor that was going on the online again, that a lot of bodies were cremated somewhere in this town the whole night. So there are chances that people died and we might never know who they were. All you will know is during Christmas, if you are used to your people coming home, this Christmas you'll not see them, and you will start asking, hey, what happened to so and so? So we actually don't know how many people died. But the fact is a lot of people died. A lot of young men and women were shot at parliament buildings when they broke in. And many other places. Now, this school in Nyeri, the fire breakout, and a few other schools have been set ablaze. And I was asking myself, I was wondering, why is it that only dorms burn? Why not the library, for example, or the kitchen where they do cooking?
I was talking to a friend, one of my friends. He's a professor. I called him, and we were just having a conversation. And this guy was telling me one thing, that Let me tell you something, my friend. People say that students or pupils ban schools. They don't ban schools. Because when you look at things that normally ban in schools, like look at what they ban, the dormitory. The dormitory is not a school. Kitchen is not a school. The message that these students or pupils are trying to pass to the administration is that we love our school. But now the way we are living, the lifestyle is what we don't want. So that is why they don't ban library, because library is now the school. That is where the library and the administration, that is now the school itself. That is why now they ban library, they ban dormitories and the kitchen, simply because they are not okay with what is happening. And there is also a school, I don't know where, that students went on strike, saying that they don't want to learn, they want to go home, and they've been taken home.
You see, that could be another reason. But looking at this Nyeri one more critically, I'm told about the ambulances after the power went out
at the
across the
airport.
country. I heard rumors that there are some children who are found somewhere in northern Uganda who are from Kenya. I don't know if that is true. But if it is true, I've also been watching a lot of things online. One of the things one of the writers said is, I think it was one of the Kiswahili writers called Shaban Robert. Alikuwa Shaban, one of them, I don't know if it was Shaban or Ken Walibora. Unyama umeondoka kwa wanyama, umeingia kwa wanadamu.
Yeah, Ken Walibora.
Ken Walibora. Yeah. So human beings have become animals. How? Today, even, I want to mention something that many people don't know. Do you know today some people are dating with the intention of killing somebody so they make money? And it comes because of the body organ.
How much is the body organ?
How much is the body organ? You can Google that and find out how much it is.
After all, if you kill someone, nobody will know.
So, we cannot rule out the fact that maybe somebody wanted to make money quickly, na kahesabu akaona hawa watoto sio wangu, I have nothing to lose, so let me make a few of them die and a few of them disappear. By the way, pole sana kwa wale wazazi wamepoteza watoto wao. But, you know, where there are no quick investigations and we find out what happened, those speculations will always come.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody has gone to Uganda to verify if it is true that those children are there. But there is one fact. One of the boys managed to escape. Na akarudi akaokoa rafiki zake wangapi? Wawili. Out of those two that were saved by their friend from the fire, the one who saved them himself says, mimi niliokoa fulani na fulani. One of those boys is among the missing ones. How can you explain that? Together with the fact that there were ambulances in the dark going to the airport. What were those ambulances carrying?
Because you can't tell me that this one was a coincidence.
Yes. We could be facing a problem of human trafficking for body organs, because we know that is the booming business today.
And why? Tell me why, Honorable. Why would a school ban? And then, okay, let us take for instance, how comes these pupils are in a dormitory? The dormitory is burning. The dormitory is locked from outside. The security guard is not even aware of what is happening.
I want to come there as a, by the way, I didn't tell you that I'm a former high school teacher. I used to teach English literature. I actually left teaching as the principal of a high school. Some of the people I've taught include the people like, I know you know Bernard Ojwang of NTV.
Yeah, Bernard Ojwang
is my student. Yes, I taught him in Form 3 and 4, and many others. So when I talk about school matters, I talk as a former administrator. I know some of these things. When Mutula Kilonzo was the Minister of Education, there was that is when the issue of my dress, my choice came up. Because Mutula asked, why do you want to force children to dress the way they don't want to dress? Let them feel good about themselves. But then you realize that school is not a place where you go to feel good. School is a place where you go to have some software installed in your brain so that you become a better person than you were before. That is around that time is when I left teaching, when Mutula was the
CS of Education,
the Minister of Education there. Now, the issue of dormitories. There is a very clear guideline on how the dormitory should be built. Na lazima iwe na escape route.
Yeah.
But you see now most of the administrators are afraid because if they leave these openings, kids might sneak out. And the parents are not very understanding people. Let me tell you for a fact, before I left teaching, I was teaching one of the international schools here in Nairobi that I'll not mention. And you know, there is a difference between the so-called, in quotes, the normal schools, and there are schools for rich kids.
Yeah.
One of the schools around here, not very far from where we are, had just expelled some 9 or 10 students because of mischief related to lesbianism and so on. So their parents got together, and those students were then in Form 4. They were supposed to do the exam. And that school decided these students will not do exams in this school. These students, no. So after parents came together, they put together some money and identified one of the schools where I was working then, and came for inquiries.
If they can bring their children there.
Yes. I was the admin then. I was the principal of that school. So we had a meeting with the director. You know, these schools that are owned by individuals. We had a meeting, and you see, these people, I need to make money. So anything they can come.
As long as it's profitable.
So after the parents came and paid some money, exchanged hands, we had now to start to initiate the process of transferring those students
from the other school, from the former school,
because they were already registered to do KCSE that year. So we transferred their NEC registration to the center where he was. And I'm telling you, it was not easy. Because the National Examination Council knows that this is a child of this school and they'll do their exam in that school. The board on the other school has sat down and decided these ones, because they are doing this and we don't want, they'll not do exams in this school. Now, that is not the story for now. What I wanted to address is the way these children behave, especially children from rich families, is a bit different from the average child from a poor background who is going to school because they want to change their lives. Some of these kids have cars better than, you know, as their principal, I was not even driving. But they could come with nice cars and park outside my office. And there is this particular boy, he used to come with his girlfriend to school. So they park outside my office. It was all glass, so I could see what they were doing in the car. Then I go to the director and tell him, now, if we are going to help these children, we cannot allow them to keep doing this in the school. The director tells me, that student is already living your dream. He's driving and you are not. What will you do? He's the one paying you, so we cannot chase him away.
So the director is like defending the kids.
Yes.
Because he knows at the end of the day, he's benefiting.
That is how I left teaching. Because I realized I was not helping these kids. So I left, and now, when you have that kind of entitlement by students, you realize that even disciplining them becomes a problem. You try to show them the right way, the parents come and take you to court because it is their right. Just like they took the head teacher of the school where they came from. That teacher retired, I think the particular teacher retired now. but after going through some rough time by the parents. Sometimes these parents are not very understanding, especially when they are in groups. An issue like what happened in Nyeri, for example, possibly the door was locked to keep these kids inside so that they don't sneak. Okay, I don't want to defend the school, but also there are costs of running the school. Instead of me leaving, when I was in high school, I went to Kakamega High School in Western Kenya. Our dormitory had doors on both ends. And you know, we used to sleep when those doors were wide open. And sometimes the window, you could just step up or then you jump outside. There is nothing wrong. I don't know if they do that in girls' schools. But boys have no problem sleeping when the door is open. They'll just sleep and wake up and go on.
Because you find that not all of them even sleeps.
Yes.
Like I remember in my case, some of us used to sleep at around 2. So you study from after the preps up to 2, and then you go back, you sleep for 1 hour, you wake up. So there's no need of closing the door.
There is no need of closing the door. That is how we used to operate. But for some reason, some of these schools have decided that you need to be asleep by this particular time. So everybody goes to sleep at the same time. If I'm a bad person planning to harm you, you know, sometimes you could even have enemies who just want to bring down your school. Nitasema, oh, these people sleep by this time. Yes. So if I want to get to met maximum harm on their children, this is the time I go. That is the kind of thing maybe the school should start considering, because you know, not everybody is happy about your success.
Yeah, that's true.
That school could be maybe doing well, and somebody wants to harm them so that they either close down the school. But also, as I said, we cannot rule out the fact that some people want to do business using those children. Yeah.
Because, okay, however much these things, these classrooms, these dormitories, perhaps maybe due to the restrictions, or maybe the teachers, the school administration, want to put some restrictions on the pupils based on their behavior. I think closing the dormitory is not a problem.
It is not a problem.
The problem is, where is the security guard? That was the issue. Where is the security? Because I know that if a dormitory is closed, a guard should be around there. Because you never know, perhaps maybe something can happen. Or let's assume perhaps maybe it was not this school that now fire broke out. Maybe it was another school, just in case this issue of electricity, or but the short of electricity, the security guard could have been around maybe to open the door. But you find that you are a former teacher, you understand this. Like every school has got like the boarding schools. It has got. We start with the boarding station. The boarding station. We have got the security, like the security, and then we have got the dorm master, the dorm prefect, and then we have got the teacher in charge of boarding. All these. Where were all these people?
Now that you mentioned that again, I'll refer you again to where I went to school. Kakamega High School is a boys' school. You know, I don't know if things have changed now. I was there in the 90s. Do you know, apart from sleeping with the door open, that school had no fence.
And it's a boarding school?
It is a boarding school. And there was a motorable road cutting right across the school. Tulikuwa tunaenda na hiyo barabara tukienda kuchota maji mtoni tunarudi. The road passes through where we used to assemble for parade. So when we are on parade,
no vehicle passes.
The vehicles come and wait. Not a lot of vehicles, but a few vehicles used to pass through. So they come and wait, tukimaliza parade ndio zipite. Now, what the principal and the administration of that school had done was they had invested in having the soldiers, security guys. Na hao ma security walikuwa na mbio. Ungewaweza. I think for a school like that one, that is why they are lacking. And I mentioned something to do with the resources. Sometimes maybe the owners of the school want to save on paying the security people, at the expense of now. Look at how many children died again?
Almost 20, let's say almost 25, but the number is, there was around 21 to 25.
So was that better than the money you are making, or worse than the money you are making? That is one of, those are some of the questions people should ask themselves. I'm in the insurance sector at the moment. Now, some of the people who do the job I do survive based on such calamities happening. Because after it happens, I'll come and use it to threaten another person so that they also sign up, because they are not. You see now what happened to them? Yes. If you don't protect your property by signing up this policy, this might happen to you. Oh, by the way, I do 3 businesses. I'm in insurance, I'm in tours and travel, and I'm a consultant, general consultant. It means, when somebody tells you general consultant, they know something about everything. Yeah. So your people can feel free to consult me on anything. I know most of the things, but not all.
Or not all, yeah.
Yes, so that is how we survive in this town. But back to our topic. Have we as human beings become so bad that we don't care about another person that was created in an image and likeness of God like you? Why would we, the example I gave you, why would I date a lady and promise her marriage and maybe even marry her, and then I go and take a life policy against her? In case she dies, she's my wife, I'm the beneficiary. I've spent 1 million on this lady, but when she dies, I claim 20 million. That is the kind of life some people are living. But unfortunately, many ladies don't know this. So when they get into a relationship, they are spoiled by somebody gets you a nice house, you are paying for your rent of 30,000 per month. Na amepiga hesabu yake vizuri. Anajua nikichukua policy na ikae 6 months, I'll spend 1 million and get 20 million. That is a good investment, return on investment in business.
So right? You made a total of 19 million profit.
And then you move on to another one.
So you can do that to maybe 3.
Yes. So long as you have you suffer a financial loss when somebody dies.
But that at the end of the day, you are going to benefit huge.
Yeah, they are going to be rich. That is why sometimes you have you see so many rich people, and they cannot explain where their wealth came from. One time I told people, I don't know, maybe Mungu anisaidie siku moja. But I said, if one day God made me president of this country, kila mtu atapanga line kwa assistant chief, aeleze mali yake yote, hii nilipata hapa, hii nilipata hapa, hii nilipata hapa. And anything that cannot be accounted for properly goes back to the government. Nakwambia tukifanya hivyo, hii country haitakuwa na deni hata shilingi. But and we will grow.
The government cannot do that. If you are I think you watch the vetting of the CSS. Someone is making a total of 100 something billion. Someone's account is reading billions of money, and this person still wants to be the CS and is given the position to run. So tell me, how can your account has got something like let's say, for instance, 30 billion. 30 billion Kenya shillings. That is a very huge amount of money. And you are going for a job that gives you less than 300,000 in a month.
People realized politics in Kenya. Actually, if we look at Plato, was it Plato or Aristotle who said only philosophers should be leaders? Do you know why? Maybe we need to look at the definition of a philosopher.
Somebody like P.L. Lumumba.
A philosopher is somebody who is not in doing something for personal gain. Anajua nafanya hivi so that the whole community benefits. Sometimes they confuse it to be communism, which is not necessarily true. But you see, the tragedy of our country is one. We've taken entrepreneurs and businessmen and conmen and women and put them in power. And they know this is where all the money is. The other day, I know of people who have left their jobs. You see this young man who was the head of the the prime cabinet secretary's office.
Ali.
This guy was earning well over 300,000 when he was in NTV.
Yeah.
And he got that position because
money,
because of greed.
Greed, yeah. And then spoiled it.
And he messed it up. I have a very good friend of mine from where I come from. He used to be he used to work for one of the hotels here in Nairobi. And every time he was traveling home, we would, he used to do things for the community where there is a funeral, where there is a fundraising for a child going to school. He would go and he would post a message on social media for us to support him. Sometimes we could even pay for his own bus fare going home. So up to the time he got into power, close to power, I knew him as a very good man. I don't know what happens to people when they get close to or in power. Because when he was appointed as one of the senior officials in the county government, the guy changed. He could not even pick calls. And just a few months after being appointed, I heard he had built a big house. He was now driving a nice car. When you calculate the amount of money he's being paid, is not enough. The reason why you see most of these people focusing on foreign travel and so on is because there is something there called per diem that they get per day. How would you study how to fight corruption from a country like Kenya?
So you're coming to study how you can fight corruption, and you're using Kenya as an example. And why can't you go to Burkina Faso?
Let me tell you the reason they came. They didn't come to study. They came because there was an opportunity for them to get per diem.
Oh.
There is a figure. When you go to Kenya is taken as one of the developed countries in Africa. So when others visit Kenya, their allowance is a bit higher than when they visit another country. And I realize that is why our leaders like going to some particular countries for benchmarking session. It is not because they want to learn anything. They just want to go there so that they have the per diem. They go and have sex there as if they cannot get it here right here at home. Because we have made leadership look like it is a luxury. When you look at even the Bible, when was it Samuel, the prophet, was sent to Wakina David to anoint
Samuel,
him as king. Yes. All those tall ones and the huge all ones, of them came.
7 of them.
Na mpaka Samuel akauliza, kwani hii boma haikuange na mwingine? Then they brought David. David didn't look like a leader, but God had chosen him. But before then, there had been another king. Okay, was it Saul?
Saul was the king by then.
Saul was king, but Samuel was the priest. So kulikuwa na very clear definition of what a king is supposed to do. And if they go wrong, the priest had the power to correct this king. Today our kings are correcting prophets. They don't listen to them.
They don't listen to them.
Yes. That is the problem we have. Today we have the priests who want to become kings. So we've lost direction. And I really regret this because when we were organizing for Ruto, one of the mistakes we made, I already repented over this, so don't hold me responsible. One of the mistakes we made, we were asking this question: what is the relationship between politics and church and religion? And under our movement, we went out of our way to mobilize pastors and imams and all sorts of religious leaders and gave them their own directorate. One of the very first meetings, they went to Karen to visit the deputy president then as pastors. Iliongozwa na watu wenye walikuwa wametoka kwa movement yetu. And their coordinator alikuwa anaitwa Pastor Yohana Tumaini from Taita Taveta. Yes. What we realized is after sitting with these pastors, and with all due respect to the men and women of God, when you sit with these pastors on a political table, you realize they are just people like any other person. They also want to be in power. They also want to be in control. I don't know. And we made a mistake of recruiting over 6,000 pastors.
So Kenya has got a lot of pastors. 6,000.
The reason you are seeing Ruto being invited in churches all over is because we had drawn a strategy and it was working. So we were encouraging pastors, plan an event in your church, let's invite him. And he would go there.
And you know what is funny is that you are not just looking for a church.
Yes.
You are looking for a big church with big crowd.
There is a big crowd.
So that you can attract.
Yes.
And then William Ruto comes there, dashes 1 million Kenya shillings, and then that is how a pastor is.
And let me tell you something else that people don't know, and people don't like talking about this. The story of Ruto contributing money to churches. Some projects even in churches started but were never finished. You know, when you go to a church that has no clear structures on running finances, it also becomes difficult for members to know what is happening. So church members who will be listening to this, who are listening to me now, this is what used to happen. Publicly, a certain leader would be seen to have donated 1 million shillings or even more. Even, let's say 10 million. Lakini before hiyo siku ifike, kuna watu walitumwa kwa huyo mchungaji wakamwambia wewe. Tunawaletea kiongozi hapa, publicly atadonate 1 million. But hiyo jioni tutakujia 800,000. So ile inatangazwa ni 1 million. But jioni,
that is the trick.
Ndio idonetiwe kwa church ingine kesho.
So you are only left with 200.
Yes. So even when people, the finance committees for those churches with finance committees, when they come to audit, you realize you have a shortage, and because you are a church, you don't want to be embarrassed, you keep quiet. Yes. That is why some pastors have never spoken up to now. But they think we don't know. We know what was happening.
That one is tricky.
That was a campaign strategy.
So the politician comes at the pulpit.
Yes.
He's given time.
Yes.
Like 1 hour more. I wonder why politicians are given time more than the preacher himself. Whenever any politician is around the church. So let's say, for instance, William Ruto comes, stand at the pulpit and says that the way you normally say that hapa nimeona mmeanza kitu. Sasa kitu tutafanya, nitaongea na bishop wenyu, nitawapea karibu milioni 10. So that milioni 10 is just a word.
It is just a word for campaign.
And for campaign. And everybody sees it being given.
Yes.
And then later in the evening, he sends his people.
Not even in the evening. Wakimaliza tu hiyo fundraising, kuna mahali wanaenda kwa huko. That is where things happen.
So instead of giving you the 10 million, they leave you 500,000.
Yes.
They go with the rest.
Lakini in the mind of the people, wanajua huyo ni mzuri alituletea 10 million, which is not there.
That is brainwashing.
Yes. Na hapo ndio ukora iliingia kanisani. And that is why you realize these things never used to happen in mainstream churches. They were happening in churches zenye zinaoniwa na particular people.
Yeah.
And it was happening for public consumption. So that when you are a believer, you go saying, so and so is good because he contributes to the work of God.
Contributes to the work of God, so let us elect him.
But the reality is different.
Don't you think, Honorable, that that is one of the major things that now, those are the major things that are now haunting William Ruto? Sincerely speaking.
I'm not him, but if I were in his shoe, it will really haunt me.
Yeah.
Because it appears at some point, you cannot cheat God.
You can't. That's the truth.
When Ananias and Sapphira tried, they
died
fell
instantly.
down and died instantly. I'm not wishing anybody death, but even the Bible says the wages of sin is
death.
Death. Okay. I believe the future is bright. We just need to keep the focus and work hard and really believe that these things can change. Let's try to have leaders of integrity. Like I said, immiscible liquids. Integrity and riches don't mix. The moment you see integrity and riches mixing, there is a compromise somewhere.
Wow, that one is a message. Integrity and riches don't mix.
They don't mix.
They are immiscible.
They don't mix. They are immiscible liquids.
The Honorable will say that integrity and riches don't mix. So if at all you see someone saying that these things mix, there is a problem somewhere. After all, guys, that is all we had for today. Until we meet again, I've been your host, Boniface Owino. Bye-bye.